Hey there. Happy Thursday. Jumping in here for actually an unscheduled, unplanned Facebook Live to kind of reiterate something that I talked about a few weeks ago, but that really hit home in the last couple of days. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a live where I was talking about how entrepreneurs, for the most part, are worrying about the wrong things when it comes to the legal stuff. And what I mean is, I hear entrepreneurs asking all the time, how do I make sure someone doesn't steal my stuff, meaning their content, doesn't copy their course, doesn't copy their freebie, doesn't do something like that? Or they say, well, what do I do if somebody does? And that really seems to be the biggest concern I hear from people. And that's not what you should be worried about. And I want to talk about that today. Now, if we haven't met yet, I'm Bobby Klink. I'm the lawyer and online entrepreneur behind Your Online Genius. I work with other online entrepreneurs to help them get their legal protection in place quickly, easily, and affordably so they can focus on building their business, basically focus on the sexy, fun part of entrepreneurship and not have to spend a lot of time on the boring, annoying parts like the legal stuff. So that's what I do. And in that role, I see entrepreneurs all the time talking about what they need to deal with from a legal perspective. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. I'm very active in a few. And the thing that comes up over and over and over again is people asking, like, how do I make sure someone doesn't steal my stuff? I'm in groups right now that are all about focused about creating an online course, and we're kind of going through it in a dripped manner. And these folks are asking, like, they're worried about it. They're like, well, what do I put in my, refund policy? How do I do this? How do I do that to make sure somebody doesn't come in, take my stuff, steal it, and then, download it, get a refund, and then sell it to someone else? Or I had someone talking about how one of someone else, kind of a competitor in the field, started creating posts or blog posts that were very similar to hers, and she was worried about it and wondering, what should I do about it? And look, candidly, there's not much you can do. And I tell people this and they don't like hearing it. And what I mean by that, when I say there's not much you can do about it, is that sure, you could try to go after these people, but for the most part, people who are like stealing your stuff, they don't have a lot of money. So if you go after them, you're not going to get much from them. You can do a couple of things like send some letters and do all of those things, but that is kind of just a little thing. And chances are it's not going to matter. And it was brought home to me yesterday because yesterday I got on the phone with someone who was dealing with a real problem, and it was related to someone, kind of the content, et cetera. But it was a problem where the person hadn't taken the right steps in advance. And I see this over and over and over again. And this was something that was completely preventable. What happened was this woman was, hired someone as a contractor, or wanted to bring someone as a contractor to help create some content that she was going to be using in a program. And this person was creating some written content and then appeared in some videos. And so what happened is, I'm not going to drag out the whole thing, but essentially a dispute comes up. And this person, this entrepreneur, had hired this woman to do some things for her. Now this other woman is claiming, no, I own that stuff. It's mine. You can't use it, etc. And here was the kicker. The entrepreneur had never gotten a written agreement in place. And that meant that she doesn't really have options. I mean, sure, maybe she could try to make some arguments about how there was what's called a de facto contract, meaning we agreed in principle, or we had an oral agreement, et cetera. But candidly, if you come to me with that kind of dispute, I'm going to say, don't do it. You're going to spend more money on me than it would cost you to just create it again from scratch. And this is the kind of thing I see happening over and over and over again. Entrepreneurs are worrying about things that they can't control, that they can't really do anything about, like someone might steal my stuff. Guess what? People are going to steal your stuff. You create good content, they're going to rip you off. It's just going to happen. There's no way to avoid it. There's nothing you can do about it. But they're not worrying about the stuff that's actually in their control, like getting written agreements in place every time, all the time, without exception, without question. You should not have money change hands without a written agreement in place, period. It's just that simple. And so, I bring this up. Like I said, I talked about it a few weeks ago in a live. But this happened yesterday. I was talking to this woman and I said, I've got to come back in and talk about it again, because this really is kind of the most important lesson, if I could get across to you or to anyone else, is that if you would just focus on the things you can control, you will be much better off. Now, I live by what's called this, or it's the Serenity Prayer. Some people call it the Alcoholics Anonymous Prayer, because it's what they start with. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom always to know the difference. And what I'm going to tell you is that you as an entrepreneur, there aren't a lot of things you can control. But with the legal stuff, there are some things you can control. And getting written agreements in place and just having this period rule, I will not do business without a written agreement, that is something in your control. And so that's something that you actually could take control of and make sure you're protected. If you get the right agreement with a contractor, it's going to say very clearly that, you own the stuff. If they owned it at one point, they're transferring it to you, etc. When you have somebody appear in a video, you're going to have them sign a publicity release that says you own it, you can use it, etc. So if you just get in the practice of doing these things, you won't find yourself in these ugly positions where you don't have a lot of options. So my call to action to you today is focus on those things. Stop worrying that someone might steal your stuff, because they are going to, and start worrying about the basics. And the basics are: get written agreements in place, set up a business entity, run the finances right for your business, the very boring stuff. I know it's not fun, but no one said entrepreneurship is going to be fun all day, every day. It's not. We're business owners, and we have to act like business owners. We have to start thinking like business owners. And that means taking responsibility for the sexy stuff and the not so sexy stuff. So that's the call to action I've got for you. Now, if you haven't yet, if you would like to get your hands on all of my legal templates, so you never have to wonder, how do I write a contract? How do I get a written agreement in place? If you want to just have all of my templates now and forever, so that you're always going to have the ability to get yourself protected, so you don't have to worry about these things, so you can focus on the sexy stuff more and less on the non-sexy stuff, I've got a solution called the Online Genius Template Library. It's not open right now, but you can join the wait list. When you join the wait list, you're guaranteed to be the first one to hear about it, and also get the best possible deal, the best possible bonuses, the best possible everything. So the way you do that is head to youronlinegenius.com/library, and you can go ahead and join the wait list, and I'll make sure that you get access right when I open the doors again, which is coming in a little bit more than a month, but you'll get access to all the good stuff when you join the wait list for the template library. So that's all for now. I hope you have a good rest of the day today on Thursday. I'll be back here tomorrow at noon Eastern time, back on regular schedule, talking about a mindset issue that I think is really important. So I hope you'll join me there. That's all for now. Have a great afternoon.